Let's talk about the women's hockey team. See, if I started with the women's hockey, everybody would have tuned out after 3 seconds and nobody would be watching. So now that I got you warmed up, let's unload some dog shit and talk about the women's hockey compared to the men's hockey. Who actually watches women's hockey? Seriously. Who watches women's hockey when you can watch the men with physicality, hitting, fighting, the France-Canada brawl? I thought that was pretty entertaining. But women's hockey doesn't have any jam. And so nobody supports women's hockey. They can't even give away these tickets for free. Like, who's the TikTok guy? I think we've all seen the guy where he goes around New York City and was like, hey, do you want $1 or some PWHL tickets? Do you want a scrubby or PWHL tickets? Do you want $5 gas coupon? And they all pick anything but the PWHL tickets. Like, nobody cares. So you get this final opportunity. You win the gold medal. I can't remember the last time the U.S. women won the gold medal. I don't really care or pay attention. I don't think anybody does. But anyway, you get this golden opportunity. President Trump says, we'd like to have you down to the White House. No, we're not going to go. We want to grow the game. Well, why don't you go down to the White House? No, he's going to take away women's rights. Caught myself swearing there. You know, the perfect analogy. I'm born and raised in Winnipeg, right? And I'm driving in Winnipeg. This was a couple of years ago. It's minus 30, cold February night. And I saw this homeless guy in the corner. He had a sign, anything helps. And usually I hate giving stuff to homeless people. I don't like giving freebies. Like, I work for my money. You can work for yours as well. For whatever reason, I was feeling awfully generous this evening. And I thought, you know what? There's a Tim Hortons. This is before Tim Hortons became Sing Hortons. I'm going to go get him a black coffee, whatever. He can doctor it up how he likes. And just as a, hey, kind of stay warm type of deal. Get the coffee, roll back around. Hey, man, here's a coffee for you. Oh, thank you so much. What's in it? Oh, it's just black. I don't do black, dog. I don't do black coffee. It's got to be a double-double. I'm like, give me that sign. Let me scratch that off. Anything helps except black coffee. Has to be a double-double. This is literally the equivalent of what the women's the women's Olympic USA hockey team did. You get one opportunity with President Trump to go on national TV and put yourself out to the conservative side of the audience, the conservative aisle, break bread, make some peace. No, we don't want to do it. He's awful. And then people are all upset when he was calling the men. The men were all excited. Yeah, we'd love to come see you, President Trump. Would you like us to fly you down on Air Force One? Yeah. You know we're going to have to take the women, right? And they all kind of started laughing because they know the women are retarded. They'd look at the facial expressions and listen to the reaction. They know, yep, the women are retarded. Surprise, surprise. Anyway, like I said, I guess anything helps except black coffee. But here's the reality, that despite the fact that women consistently make bad voting choices for big government, for endless hands out, the welfare state, endless free shit in Canada, getting replaced by the third world and the all-you-can-eat buffet of abortions, because that's so important. The reality is, whether you are for or against, it does not matter. The genie is not going back in the bottle. It is literally the equivalent of going to the bathroom, taking a shit, picking it up out of the toilet, and trying to shove it back in your ass. It is not happening. You're not getting it back in there. Very tough to do. I don't think you can. But, and speaking of which, to give you an idea of just, this is, at least in my experience, what it seems like the state of women are, when the men, despite, and I guarantee you that of the 17 guys that went to the White House, there's a couple who probably weren't big fans of Uncle Donnie, said, you know what, whatever. I'm going to go do it. I texted a good friend of mine, Stanley Cup champion. I asked him, I said, what do you think? And he says, oh, dude, I don't care if it's Uncle Bernie, Trudeau, Carney, Kamala, Trump. If I'm getting invited for something like that, I'm going. And he's done it multiple times. And I thought, why would they not? I don't know. This dude's about as unplugged as you can possibly get. So even if his wife was like, don't you go see Donald Trump, he's still going to go. Which I respect and I love him. He's a good friend of mine. But anyway, there's a liberal woman I dated. Lots of liberal women out there. A couple of years ago. She always complained she never had any money, right? And personally, I hate tattoos on women. I cannot stand tattoos on women. There's nothing more unattractive, but there's also nothing more attractive than a woman without tattoos. Mostly because I don't want the future mother of my children looking like an underpass in downtown Winnipeg at the corner of Higgins and Main Avenue. No, that is gross. And any of the low testosterone men in the comment section, I like a little bit of ink on my woman. Yeah, dude, your chick looks like a troll. No man ever thinks that a woman looks better with tattoos than without. Just doesn't exist. Anyway, got a little glass window here. Everybody waving at me. It's funny, they can't hear me, but they can definitely see me. Anyway, back to the tattoos. I love my woman with a little bit of ink. I have never in my life ever heard of or seen a woman in divorce court say, Your Honor, I'd like to part ways civilly and have a civil split, and I want to take half of his love with me. No! It's half your shit. Preferably all of it. This is what she wants. She does not care about your love of anything up and including to her tattoos. Give me your shit. I'm taking all of it and the kids. Thank you so much. By the way, my new boyfriend's moving in tomorrow. That's usually how it goes. Anyway, so this woman that I was dating, this liberal woman, decided she wanted to get a sleeve tattoo, like all the way, like shoulder, all the way down right to the wrist. Had that like cliche, like forest, I don't know, like trees they get in the wrist. And so she knew that I didn't like tattoos. I hate tattoos so much. And so she's going to get the sleeve, and she says to me the day beforehand, I want you to be supportive. I want you to be supportive of me, and I want you to like it. Listen, I don't like tattoos. I don't know why you're asking. Okay. Next day comes. She goes to get her tattoo. She's sending me like update photos as the day goes on. I don't respond to a single text. I'm like, I told you I don't like them. I'm going to carry on my day. You're not going to get a single response. She comes in the door, and the second that door opens, I can send, oh, God, I'm going to have a nightmare in my hands. Goodness gracious me. This is about to blow up. She comes in the door, takes her jacket off. What do you think? And I just looked at it, and I said, looks pretty big to me. Well, what do you think? Looks big. She starts crying and pretending, oh my God, like your opinion mattered so much. Yeah, my opinion mattered so much. I've only told you for the last 6 months that I hate tattoos and you still went going. Now my opinion matters. But point being, fast forward a couple weeks, she's always complaining, I don't ever have any money, Don't have a window, a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of, just a bunch of student debt, $40,000 of debt from a BS liberal arts and gender family studies degree out at, Wilfrid Laurier University. And so I asked her, I said, if I could wave my magic wand and like peel that tattoo off, just whoop, pull it right off your arm, and I could give you $3,000 cash, would you do it? She said, no. I said, why not? It looks cool. It makes me feel good. That right there is peak female retardation. That is the pinnacle of retardation from the femme society that we have today. And this, again, you could extrapolate this out to the Team USA women's program. There is no logic. It's funny, that same girl, she always told me she hated the word retard. I love using the word retard, in case you haven't noticed. And I asked her why, and she's like, well, I got called retarded a lot as a kid, especially by my dad. Can't figure out why. Not a clue. It's a mystery. Let me know in the comments section below if you can think of a reason. But anyway,